Hi everybody, it's Russell here from VectorVest. Let's get right into it. Let's go and benchmark the best performing sectors in Australia. It's quick and easy and fun to do with VectorVest. Alright, so first thing first, click on the Graphs tab, and from here where it notes stocks, so you've clicked on the Graphs tab, there where it notes stocks, drop down, click the drop down and select performance. So there we go, we load up performance, and from here what we're going to do now is we're going to go and add in our sectors. So you'll see the first line that it puts in here, the VectorVest composite, the average there of all the stocks that we track in Australia. So that's the VectorVest composite. All right, but we want to find the sectors. So what we're going to do here, where it notes stock, click on the drop down and change it to read sector. And then from here, you're going to click on choose a sector. All right, so here we go. Simply select and repeat. Choose sector, select, choose sector, select, and away you go until you get through all of the sectors. There's only a handful of sectors, so it won't take you too long, just a couple of seconds there. All right, so let's keep going until we add them all in, just about there. 2 more to go, and there we are. I've added them all in. I'll maximize this out so it's a little bit easier to see, and then it's just a matter of selecting all these so it pops up on your graph. So there we go. So over the last year, the last 12 months, you can see the best performing sectors. Look right up at the top list up here. This here is your information technology. There it is. So you can confirm it if I unselect and reselect. Yep, there it is. It was that one there. All right. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn off any of the market trackers, so to speak. All right. So the VectorVest composite, we can turn that off. If I'm just purely after the sectors, I'll turn off the market and I'll turn off the composite. All right, so I've just got the sectors on here as such without taking into account the overall tracking of the market. You can put them on, of course, if you wish. I find it handy sometimes to have one on where I can then benchmark it against the performance of the overall sectors. All right, but for this exercise, I'm just going to simply have the sectors here. And now what I can do is I can save this so I don't have to come in and change this each and every time. So the way I do it, here where it notes graph layouts, click on the drop down and then click save modify layout. All right, see how I did that there? So graph layouts, click the drop down and click on save modify layout. There we go. Add new layout. It's going to ask you for a name, so we'll call it all sectors. How's that? And we'll then click on OK. And that's it, close. Now let's say for whatever reason you've done something totally different to your graph and you want to revert back to what you had. Then you just simply come back up to here where it notes graph layouts, make sure it opens up, and then you can revert back to your all sectors. And there we are. It's all back in there again for us. All right, so really handy. So you can see over the last 12 months, information technology there being the best performer. And then in second place there, you can see it's the blue line there, but it's starting to fall away. So you can see here it's utilities. And then hot on the heels there, probably by the time you're watching this video, I wouldn't be surprised if healthcare is in number 2 position. So you can see there, healthcare coming up, getting very close to overtaking utilities. Interesting to see too that telecommunication services, it was down in the dumps for a while there, but it's coming back at a rapid rate of knots too. So that's interesting. And what's interesting too is that when you look at this information technologies top of the pops and telecommunication services, which is kind of IT related, is it not? It's within that space. It's interesting to see that it's under a lot of pressure. The likes of Telstra in that mix. Okay, so powerful. Now, what I'm going to do, one last thing, let's see year to date. So we've seen over the last 12 months, but what about year to date? So if I click on here and I come in on my date here and change this, so let's come into 2019, the first day the market was open was on the 2nd. I'll push enter my keyboard and there we are, to recalibrate for those dates, 2 Jan until your current date. You can put it till your current date. But yet again, you can see that information technology is right up at the top of the list there. All right, so it's really having a stellar run. And the other interesting thing you can do here is if you don't want to simply look at the last 12 months or year to date, you can pull this back over a longer time period. So here, for example, we'll wait for it to load up, and there we are. All right, might take a few seconds just to crunch all those calculations there, and there it is. And look at that, information technology yet again. Over the last 2.5 odd years, it is dwarfing some of the other industries out there. So make sure you set that up, save the layout. Now, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, let's say for whatever reason you close out of VectorVest, you come in the next day and you say, okay, I need to see that graph again, or you want to check it up each and every day, and you go, hang on, how did I find that graph again? Yes, that's right, I go into graphs. Now this is the mistake you might make, which you want to avoid. If you load up a graph like CSL, for example, right, so you load up CSL, nice graph, going really well, excellent earnings, and I click on graph layout, you'll see, oh, hang on, where's my all sectors layout? Don't forget, you need to change this to read performance, right? So click performance, because the layout is a performance layout. And then from there, on your graph layout, there it is, all sectors, all right? So you can then select it, and from there it all is, pops up and loads up again. All right, hope you got a lot of value out of this, and stay tuned next week. In the weekly essay, we're going to be talking about those information technology stocks, those stocks here in this industry. Even over the last 2.5 years, as we saw earlier, they top the pops in terms of the performance for the sector. That sector has certainly been the top producer. All right, so stay tuned. We'll put it into the weekly essay next week. We'll have a closer look at those information technology stocks. All right, bye for now.